Mihai, and in this tutorial I'll try to demonstrate how the FFXTP operators work. Excuse my English please, I'll try to make myself as clear as I can. Okay, let's get it started. First, if you want to open the project files and you get an error message, this is because you don't have installed the FFXTP01, which contains the thinking particles operators for FFX. In order to install them, you have to run the FFX installer. If you already have it installed, choose Modify, then click Next and check the optional checkbox which contains the Thinking Particles plugin, which may be 32 bits or 64 bit. So choose the one that you want and click Next. I won't install it again because I already have it installed. It will install in the 3ds Max folder, plugins, afterworks, optional. It won't load automatically when you start 3ds Max, so you have to load it by yourself using the plugin manager. Right click in the window and choose Load New Plugin. Browse to the installation folder, which is Plugins, Afterworks, Optional. Choose FFXTP01, click Open, and now the plugin is loaded. Now you can open the scene and you won't get any errors. The scene is a bit heavy, it has a few thousand particles. I use the FFX grid with a simple source to produce smoke. Also, I've exported the velocity channel. This channel is used by the FFX follow operator in Thinking Particles to move the particles along with the smoke. This Thinking Particle system has two dynamic sets. First, to create the particles using the FFX burst operator, and the second to move them along with the smoke using the FFX follow operator. We also need one group for the particles. Okay, let's create a new scene and get it started. Go to the Create tab, from the drop down list choose FFX and create a FFX grid in the scene. Set the spacing to 0.8, the width to 40, the length to 30, and the height to 45. From helpers, choose FFX, choose simple source, enable box and drag one to the scene. Make sure it's inside the grid. Open the FFX UI. Go to the Object Source tab. Click the Pick button and choose the FFX simple source. We only need the smoke channel, so go to the fuel channel and disable it. Disable also the temperature. Set the smoke amount to 4. Set the velocity to 0. We don't want the smoke to move. Go to the Simulation tab, disable Simulate Fuel, leave Simulate Smoke enabled, go to the Rendering tab, disable Fire, we only need smoke, go to the General tab, click on the Exporting Channels, add the velocity channel, you can set an output path for the simulation. Now we are ready to start the simulation. There is some movement in the smoke that we don't want. This is because of the turbulence. Go to the Object Source tab. At the bottom of the rollout is a turbulence group. Decrease the amount of turbulence and run the simulation again. The smoke still moves, but the movement is not so obvious. Okay, close the FFX UI and let's create a sphere. We'll use this sphere to interact with the smoke. Set the sphere radius to 7. Animate the sphere to pass through the FFX source. After the animation is set, open the material editor. Create a final render glass material and drag it to the sphere. Set the scene and render a preview. As you can see, the scene is very dark. We have to create a light. Create an omni light in the scene. From the Shadows drop-down list, choose Final Render Ray Traced Shadows. Select the Illumination tab and pick the light you have just created. Now the scene is lit properly, but we still need to make some changes to the smoke color. I'll also add an HDR image to the scene and use it as an environmental map. Now the smoke is not influenced by the sphere movement. To do this, you have to add the sphere to the FFX simulation. Open the FFX user interface. Go to the Object Source tab and pick the sphere. Set the speed multiplier to 1.5. Here are some tests I've done with different settings. Now all is ready, you can start the simulation. As you can see, the sphere is passing through the smoke, creating a hole. Now we are done with the FFX, we can pass to the thinking particle system. From the Create panel, add the thinking particle system to the scene. Open the Thinking Particles user interface. In the Groups rollout, create a new particle group. Rename it Particles. Choose a yellow color for the group. Select the master dynamic. Disable Edit on the fly. Enable Show Mesh. Create a new dynamic set. Name it Create Particles. From the Operators drop-down list, choose Afterworks. Add the FFX birth operator to the set. Set the group to Particles. Currently, there are no particles in the scene. Select the FFX birth operator. Go to the test parameters and click on the pick button. Select the FFX grid from the scene. Check out if the smoke channel is enabled. The particles will be created where the smoke is. Let's add a condition so the particles are created only in the first 5 frames. Add a time interval condition to the set and link it to the FFX birth. Set the end frame value to 5. Now the particles are born in the first 5 frames. We also have to increase the lifespan for the particles. Set the lifespan value to 200. We need more particles. Increase the rate to 20,000. Now we have to add some motion to the particles. But first let's give the particles a shape. From Operators Shape, add the standard shape operator to the set. Set it to Cube and enable Final Render Instance. Give it also a material. particles are too big, we have to decrease the size. Set the size value to 0.5. Create a new dynamic set and name it particle motion. From the operators drop-down list, choose initiator. Add the p-pass operator to the set. From the group drop-down list, choose particles. Add the FFX follow operator to the set. Link it to the particles group. Click on the pick button and select from the scene the FFX grid. Set the max angle velocity to 45. Enable delete particles if out of grid. Now all should be fine. You can close the thinking particles user interface. As you can see, the particles are following the velocity of the smoke. To add more detail, you can increase the rate. Set it to 40,000. If you want to render only the particles without the smoke, you can disable the FFX grid from the renderer. To do this, right-click the FFX grid in the viewport. Choose Object Properties. Disable the Renderable checkbox. Now you can only see the particles in the renderer. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Visit community.ro for more.